Hi, Stitchers!
Hi, I'm Laura.
I'm Keisha, and we are the Pattern Queens. And welcome to Special Stitch with Us, episode 32. Today is Sunday, March the 26th.
But we're going to pretend that it is Sunday, April the 3rd.
April the Easter.
April the Easter.
And this is a channel about cross stitch.
And shenanigans and rambling and friendship and all the things, because I don't ever remember everything like Keisha does. And sometimes about having to just restart things because you just aren't set up correctly.
Or you don't remember your own name. That happened to me. So it's going to be a fun one, guys. So we are both working on Sea Glass from Carolyn Manning. We'll put a picture in there. And I'm stitching mine on 40 count anthracite linen from Zweigart. Here's where I'm starting.
I am stitching mine on 32 count water lily from Wichelt, and I'll pull this through and then it won't be there. And I started in the opposite corner, so I'm down at the bottom right, and that's how far I am. And I'm sitting with my feet up and all comfy. So
I'm sitting with one foot up because I'm just having a day. So today we are filming 2 videos in a row. This one going up later, like we kind of indicated, because I'm going to be out of town on Easter. We're going to see my in-laws and celebrate Easter there with a big Easter egg hunt. And my father-in-law is retiring, and it's his last sermon. Which, you know what? If you're a Baptist pastor, go out on Easter. It's the best one.
There you go.
So,
I would also like to point out that we have the tree decorated for Easter. So we're being appropriate at this point.
Perfect.
I think that means we can't let James come because he will find all the eggs.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, the Easter egg hunt at my father-in-law's church, they have it sectioned off to where there's sections by age.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one, James still fits in the age range where they just kind of drop them on the ground and you just run and you get them. Last year we went, James got so many eggs because they kept coming and just rolling more at us. And then parents would come by and say, oh, you can have this egg if you want. We don't need any more candy. We don't need any more candy either. Where do you think the extra candy from filling these eggs goes? To my in-laws' house, where they give it to us. We don't need more candy. But it's always fun. There's usually a little sermon. They do hot dogs, which James is big into hot dogs right now. So it'll be
excellent. You're so funny. I remember lots of Easter egg hunts with the kids at church, and yes, it was pretty much the same thing. It was so fun to just go out and watch all the kids have a good time hunting, and we took photos like crazy.
Yes. Well, and James gets very excited because his cousins come, and so he gets to see his cousins, and his cousins are like his heroes. Anytime you say their names, he's like, oh, those are my cousins. Every time. He's so excited.
That's sweet.
Are you ready for just some weird random questions I found on the internet?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. This is always terrifying.
All right. Well, everyone, grab your stitching. Let us know what you're stitching and feel free to answer the questions along with us. The first one, with absolutely no preamble on just a list of random questions, is what's the best way to enjoy ice cream?
In your mouth.
In your mouth. Are you do you like lots of toppings? Do you just like a scoop of ice cream? Do you like sauces? How do you like to eat your ice cream?
So it kind of depends on what kind of ice cream I'm having, right? I really love a good artisan ice cream. Jenny's Splendid ice creams are some of my very favorites, and those I just get the ice cream and just eat it. I'm gluten-free, so I don't get to enjoy the cone anymore, although we have discovered that there are some gluten-free cones, so I may have to be trying that. But I love a good ice cream sundae. a Dairy Queen peanut butter parfait is about the best way to enjoy fudge and peanuts and yeah.
Yeah, nothing bad about that. Yesterday we went to Dairy Queen because my son was a very good boy and we had a great day. And so we thought we'd cap it off with ice cream because there's a Dairy Queen by our library. So we went to Dairy Queen and I got an M&M Blizzard, but I told them to put peanut butter sauce in it. And
Ooh.
this was a lovely treat. So I also really like peanut butter. So I'd say I really like just a chocolate vanilla twist in a cake cone.
Mhm.
I'm a simple person. But I like the artisan ice cream. I like a good sundae. My grandparents they just had a big gallon tub of vanilla ice cream that they kept in their deep freeze. And they had different sundae toppings. My grandpa liked the chocolate that turns into a hard shell.
Oh, wow.
And my grandma liked strawberry topping. And they just make themselves a sundae every night after dinner while they were watching TV. And that was lovely when I lived with them. They just had ice cream sundaes all the time.
I keep a bottle of special dark syrup and I will squeeze that over. But Bree has found that she thoroughly enjoys that special dark, so sometimes I have to fight her for it.
Gotcha. Now, I really like ice cream to the point that for my anniversary, my husband bought me a special ice cream scooper that transfers the heat from your hand to the bowl of the scoop. So it's heated and will scoop the ice cream nicely. Some special ice cream eating spoons and a bowl that's covered so that your hands don't get cold when you hold it. So I had an ice cream themed anniversary present. So that'll tell you everything you need to know about how much I like ice cream.
That's pretty fun.
The next one is, what's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that a fun one?
And I'm this age and having to catalog through all the things.
You want me to tell you mine while you think
right
about
ahead.
it? So probably the most adventurous thing I've ever done, and it wasn't that adventurous because it was on a guided tour sort of thing, but I felt really cool, is when we went on a cruise, my husband and I, we went to Belize and we took a bus out to like a temperate rainforest and we walked through the rainforest on a very well marked trail following a guide. It wasn't that adventurous, but we got to see some Mayan artifacts and sites, and then we got to climb up this a Mayan pyramid, which was really just stairs that they built, but I felt like a real adventurer. A real explorer when I did that. So that's maybe the.
Okay, so I think my big adventure is in 2021 when Katie and I just took off and went on the East Coast adventure to go to different cross-stitch shops because we were in a different place every day for my whole spring break.
Yeah, that would be an adventure.
It was fun. And we got to see so many different places and people, and we just had a good time.
Nice. Okay, the next question is, what is your favorite day of the week?
Ooh. My initial thought is Friday because that's when we do our chat. And then I just kind of get to enjoy the whole weekend.
Right.
But it's like the kickoff to the fun weekend.
Right.
I'm going with that.
Well, my favorite day has been, for as long as I can remember, Saturday. Saturday is my favorite day because not anymore, but you get to sleep in if you don't have a toddler that wakes you up, and you get to stay up late if you have a toddler that's not going to wake you up early the next day. And then now my husband's work schedule has recently changed to where Saturday is our big family day all together. He doesn't have to work that night. He was off the night before, and we can go and do fun things. Like yesterday, we went to the trampoline park, and we went out to lunch, and um, we went to the library, and then we just played at home, and we watched a movie with James, and then after he was in bed, we stayed up and we just watched silly YouTube videos, and he went to this restaurant. Well, it's a bar that has pretty good burgers that we don't go to really anymore because it's not a place where we could take James. And so he went out and he got those and brought those home as a surprise while I was putting James down to bed. So yeah, Saturday is my favorite day.
Fun.
But Friday is also, because that means you're done for the week. There's nothing like the feeling of 5:01 on a Friday evening.
Yes.
For me anyway, because I get off at 5. Let's see. Find another good one. What would you title your biography or autobiography if you wanted to write?
The Quirky Girl.
Ah, that's a good one.
I don't know. That's about as close as it would get.
I don't know. Some days mine should just be called
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully, by the time someone decides to pick up my story and write my biography, it could just be called a life well lived. That's what I hope it can be called eventually. Right now, it's how to survive a toddler, and I will be reading that for advice, I think. Oh, what's one skill you wish you were better at and why?
Ugh. I wish I was better at sewing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm working on making project bags, and I just need to get the process down, and it just takes me a while to get things figured out and settled in my brain so that I can do them from muscle memory.
Right.
I feel like I'm a pretty good trainer. I'm a pretty good moderator. I would like to not take things so personally and get offended as easy. I don't think I get offended easily, but I think I get upset.
Yeah. Once you're there, you're there.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I would like to be a better multitasker. Like, I feel like that's something that I'm kind of okay at, but I'm finding more and more that once I get pulled away from something, it takes me a little bit to get back into it. And the sort of job that I work in requires a lot of multitasking and a lot of being pulled away. And so it would just be nice if I were a little bit better at that.
I used to work at a bank, and I did the non-post desk for a while. I did a lot of different jobs, but in the operations area, I did the non-post job for a while. And that one was always humorous because you have to be a multitasker, because where we were like the processing center, and then we had to send information out to all of the branches to get their input on how to resolve these items that hadn't posted. And so my desk, which I kept very neat, was always during the day piles. And it would just be massive piles. And it really did teach me a multitasking skill, because you had to be able to just, do the first step that you needed to do, and then move on.
Right.
But it had to be accessible so that if somebody phone called and wanted to discuss something, then you could just pick it right up. So I can just remember people would walk by my desk and just be like, can I help you straighten this up? No, 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 no. It is exactly where it needs to be.
Right. No, my job is currently I have to file a lot of reports and do a lot of just general accounting and making sure things are paid. I supervise 4 different people who are all doing individual jobs. And I'm also I would like to speak to your manager.
Oh, yes.
And I'm oh no, something's broken in my department. Go ask Keisha, she can probably fix it. So some days I just lose days to some of the upkeep. And so just picking back up the threads is something that
at the bank, I was the person who had to know how every single machine functioned and how to do the simple fixes on them, whether I used that machine or not. And I don't know how I became that person, but they must have recognized that I had some sort of aptitude for being able to figure them out. Right. And so it was like, can you just look at this one too? Thankfully, I don't do that at school.
See, the people that I work with swear that the technology is afraid of me because they can try to push the same buttons over and over. Excuse me, and it just won't work. And then whenever they call me in to help them fix the problem, they'll push the same buttons and it will work. So they just think that the technology's in front of me. The thing is now, hey Keisha, could you just come stand next to my desk while I do this? And most of the time it works, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't want to have this power. It's too great for me to bear. Kind of going off the same thread there is, what is one skill you wish you could pick up instantly?
Can it be teleportation?
Sure.
When we went on our trip this week, and it just made me think and reminded me that the getting there is always fun. The getting home is not.
Right.
I mean, and I shouldn't say that it's not fun. It's that I want to be home.
Right. When you're done, you're done.
Yes. And we've had our great adventure, and I'd like to be at home and just playing with my stuff.
Right. For sure.
So yeah, teleportation, that's a skill I wish I could pick up instantly.
Well, I would like that one too. But I think I'll say the ability to learn a new language. Like, I wish I could just pick up a new language. I'm good at learning what I need to know and remembering that, but I don't know enough of any language to be able to really converse with anybody. And I would like to be able to do that. I would like to learn more.
Well, I'm an ELL para, and we have students this year who moved partway through the year from Cuba. And so they have very, very little English. And we have found that Google Translate is a fabulous program.
Yes, for sure.
And we use that quite a bit. And the thing that I've really loved working with the students is that they recognize that Google has not picked up accurately what I've said or what they've said. And we'll just point at the word that we know is wrong. And then we get a good laugh. So it's been a good bonding experience too.
Oh, that's good.
And we'll have to go back and do that. But yes, we're also using Google Transcribe in at least one of the classrooms. And that's a fabulous thing. You have to download that app. But they are using one of the teacher's iPads, and they just set it up with the student, have transcribe on, and the entire lesson. So the entire focus lesson while they're talking, it rolls on the screen in both English and Spanish.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And it seems to be way more accurate than Translate is.
That's really cool. Technology's really just done a lot, I feel like, in the past few years, because that used to be like a thing that you'd see in science fiction, right? That you could speak into something and it would translate it into a different language so that someone else could understand. And now we're here and it's the reality of things.
Mhm.
Because I know that at least on Apple devices, there's just an app that comes automatically on your phone that does a similar thing. And not for all languages, but for a lot of them.
Mhm.
And I've shown my my staff at work how to access that, because we have several people that we see on a regular basis who only speak Spanish or speak Spanish and English, but Spanish is easier for them to understand. And and there are some things where even if you are pretty good at both languages, it's easier to talk about business and legal things in your native language because maybe that's not something you've picked up. Um, so I've kind of shown them that. But we are lucky at work that two of the people that are in my department are fluent in both English and Spanish. So we are able to help others, both in written and in spoken, which are two completely different
Yes.
things. So it's been really nice to have those resources for the people who live in the city, so that they can conduct and do business with us. My phone screen, that's I have to unlock it.
That's such a sense of inclusion for people
Yes.
too.
Oh,
So
for sure. Because, like I try to tell my staff and others, you just because you speak English doesn't mean that's what you want to speak and how you could best communicate.
mhm.
Um, so, and I feel we get a lot of people who bring in their children who've grown up with both languages to come and translate, but you don't get all the information when someone's trying
Right.
to translate. So I would like to speak a little bit more too, because that's also hard whenever you're doing I need to complain to someone about something, and then they get all the information through probably the person that they were talking to that they weren't agreeing with. So those are the interesting, uh, and I'm sure you come across that more than I do in what you do for work, but it's always interesting to try to navigate those things
Mhm.
and make it so that everybody feels like they're being heard.
We have kind of a prolific third grade class this year who are all very much interested in sharing their culture with each other.
Oh,
And the Friday before spring break, they had some time at the end of the day where parents, friends, family, whoever could come in and be with them. And they had a cultural day.
oh, fun.
So families prepared food and sent it so that people could try food from different cultures. And it was fun just to watch the kids, and the kids wore some of their more traditional clothing,
Oh,
maybe
cool.
things that they wear for special occasions and different things. And they got up and talked about their culture and what things meant to them. And they had done some work as part of their classroom study to be able to present that. So it
That's
was
really cool.
really cool.
I like that.
I think that maybe next year we will be looking at including all of the ELL students and maybe having a cultural event.
That would be really fun. I think that would be good. Okay, next question. Would you rather for your life have a pause button or a rewind button?
Probably a rewind button,
Yeah.
I think, because pause, you have to pick up right where you are.
Mm,
And there are times when maybe if I could rewind just a hair,
yeah. Right.
that would be much better.
And see, I would say pause because I don't want to, everything that you do kind of makes up who you are and your experiences. And there are things that I'd want to go back and change. But there are definitely, I'm running into a lot of moments right now where I'm like, I just want to pause it. I just want to pause it for a minute. And I want to just take everything in about this moment and then we can go on. Or, okay, we could pause the toddler so I could sleep a little bit, and then we'll unpause it. But yeah, I'm because I'm starting to watch all of these things that are like they grow up so fast, and I'm like over here sobbing because my kid is potty training, and I'm like, oh, I remember when you were so small. And of course, eventually he's going to be, in his 30s, and that will be weird.
I have been told that I think very well on my feet. So that's why a pause button isn't always quite as much in need for me for that kind of thing. Now, if I could have had a pause button to just absorb more, that would be good. But just in the day-to-day, some of the moments that I think I enjoy the most at school are when the kids are completely unguarded and they just whatever comes out.
Yeah.
And I have to immediately deal with whatever comes out.
Right.
But I think we've done okay, and we've made our connections. If you've ever worked with kids, I have had to have the everybody poops conversation multiple times.
Yep.
And this year it morphed into everybody farts. So lovely things to get to talk to kids about.
Yeah, no, I just have a boy who giggles anytime anyone says either of those words.
Yes, and that's all of my kids do that.
Now, I watched maybe the most heartbreaking video on the internet that I've seen. Well, recently. It was like. It was this dad who was talking, and it was pictures of his daughter. And it was like, well, she was a baby, and I missed the baby, but she was replaced by this toddler who was really, really great. And then I missed the toddler, but the toddler was replaced by this little girl who asked all of the best questions. And then that little girl was replaced by, and then it's like kind of kept going on and on. And he's like, and then she left, and all those kids went with her, and there was no one to replace.
Aww.
But I was like, no, don't talk to me about this. My son is 2.5, guys. I'm not nostalgic for a whole bunch yet, but I was like, I don't want to think about him getting older. But it's really exciting. So that's probably informing I would like a pause button, as having watched that video earlier today. I sent it to my husband with just crying emojis. It's like, I can't handle it. Oh, well, this is an easy question. Would you rather have $100,000 now or $1 million in 5 years?
Wow, I think I'd rather have $1 million in 5 years.
Yeah, same here. I mean,
so here's the thinking behind it. Does that mean that you are slowly getting that money, or that you have to make it through 5 more years and then you'll get $1 million?
See, I was thinking about it as you just have to make it through 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. But if you're just getting the money slowly, but then that makes you think, well, how much money do I make? And how much money would I make in 5 years? It wouldn't be $1 million.
Jeff and I used to have the discussion. What would it be like if you could get your entire salary all at once for 1 year?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because, and what we talked about is that would allow us to pay off every single debt. And, we would have to have second jobs to have an income.
Right.
But if we were able to get everything taken care of in 1 year, that would just be amazing.
Yeah, that would be. That's interesting to think about. Because then you would have to, like you said, you'd either have to get a second job, or you'd have to just like really plan.
Right.
So that you could make it last.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we wouldn't spend all of the money immediately.
Right.
But to just get all of it at one time and figure it out, just to be able to pay everything off would be fabulous. But I think also, like at this time of year, I would put in a garden. So then I would also have things that would help carry me through the year that I wouldn't have to spend money on at a little bit later time.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's probably better for me if I just get paid the way that I get paid. Because I'm pretty good with my money, but still, that would be
Yes.
a lot of vacation temptation.
Oh, and just the crazy day-to-day things.
Right.
That you're like, oh, well, I have that money. I can spend that.
You can go to Starbucks as many times as I feel like. Which I usually do. That's not a very good example. I can go to a fancier restaurant for those chicken nuggets today than McDonald's.
I had to get a new piece on there and I'm ready. I only had to finish crossing 2 stitches.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then I have to move. So
yeah. Ugh. Sorry, guys. I got an ad in the middle of all my questions.
Oh, don't you love that?
It's the best. So I just look up questions on Pinterest and I click on things.
So if you ever have questions for us, did your tablet die?
It did. It's restarting. It's fine. Everything's going great over here.
I mean, I can share the screen with you, but you never know where you
we're
are.
in the opposite spots.
Yeah,
You
we'll
have to
just
make it real small.
we'll just move it back and forth because I know where I'm stitching for a while.
Oh, it'll be okay, guys. It'll be okay. Maybe we should just ask one more question.
So if you have any questions for us, please feel free to send those
Oh,
because
yes, for
we're
sure.
happy to answer them. Even if you have your unusual, quirky questions.
Yeah. It
There
have
was
to
my
be us.
pause button because I almost said weird.
Ah, yes.
See,
So yeah, not super weird, but quirky is fine. It doesn't have to be stitching related. We'll answer you
if we can.
if we can. We make pause about it. We're gonna hope that this tablet comes back up, and I'm just gonna kind of wing it. Okay. We'll ask, and I don't. It's gonna be hard for me to come up with an answer to this one.
There you go. Because I know what I'm doing for a minute. So do you know what color you're on?
I do know what color I'm
okay.
on. Oh, I just have to go down a couple. Okay, I've got what I'm doing.
That's the beauty of a device,
yes,
right? And the same pattern.
Okay, so the last question I'll ask, and this may be hard.
Uh-oh.
Because we've known each other for too long and have been doing things like this for too long. Oh, my battery died. I charged this right before I came.
Oh no.
Charger must have been plugged in all the way. Okay. Tell me something about you that would be surprising to me. Isn't that hard? We've known each other too long.
We have known each other a while. Let's see. I think I've told you the fun things, like I told you that I delivered singing telegrams.
Yes, yes.
And
I think I've told you that I was paid to be a mime once.
Yes. Trying to think.
Well, that's not very surprising, but I don't know if you know that about me. You know, I don't like milk in my cereal.
No, I don't know that.
So I am a very slow eater, which you do know about me. I don't like when my food gets on me. So I usually, if I'm eating cereal, I'll eat dry cereal, or if it's the kind of cereal that turns my milk a flavor, I will have just a little bit of the cereal with milk so that I get the flavored milk, and I pour little bits in at a time so it doesn't get soggy. But yeah, I don't usually put milk in my cereal. I don't like it. So James and I eat cereal the same way. That's a surprising thing about me, I guess.
A surprising thing about me. I don't know that I'm full of surprises.
Mm.
My I don't know. So here's something that I would have loved to do would have been to perform the national anthem in public, like at an event.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
I didn't know
Okay. I've done that with a choir, but yeah,
not by yourself.
no.
See, it's more surprising to me that you haven't done it by yourself.
I was in a lot of choirs, but through the years in different groups and things. So I've always performed in groups, but
And Laura has a lovely singing.
thank you. I don't sing very often anymore because I have nodes and I haven't gotten that taken care of, which is maybe a little more work to get taken care of than I did attempt to get it taken care of, but they wanted me to go to a speech therapist to learn to redirect how I'm using my voice. I don't think that they really truly understood that I sing and that not singing is a thing that is not fun for me.
Right.
But the speech therapist only had appointments available in the middle of the day.
Oh,
And I work at a school.
right. Yeah. I have to look around.
Yes. So we had to kind of give that up, and I never pushed that again.
I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. I'm really not good at singing. Which is fine, because you know what? You don't really need to know how to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with a toddler. So that's fine.
Well, I try very hard to not like parsing people to death, but music comes on and I am like going and ready to sing.
Yeah, our trip back from Nashville, we kind of had road trip music on the whole time, and I was like, oh no, it's okay. I don't really sing. It's okay. I might mouth along with some words, but it's okay. Don't feel like I'm not participating just because I'm not singing. But I did sing along to the entire Grease soundtrack.
There you go.
And new choreography. So I do like music. I do like musicals. I just don't really sing up.
It is fun to try and think, what are things that you might not know about?
I know, isn't that? Sometimes you get to the point in the friendship where you're like, well, what is something that you might not know? So we've like stayed overnight in hotel rooms together and have, you know, done a lot of stuff together. So it's kind of hard. You never see me eat cereal.
Yeah. We both enjoy performing and have been in theatrical productions. So I once was in Barefoot in the Park and I played the mother of the bride. The bride was a year younger than me, and my husband was the man who played my husband was about 40 years my senior.
Oh gosh.
And when the director called me, I said, he told me what role he wanted me to play, and I said, do you remember who I am? I mean, I was in my 20s.
Right.
Do you remember who I am? And he said, yes. And I said, and you remember how old I am? Yes. Because he told me who would be playing my husband. I said, you realize like the disparity there. And he said, yes, we're going to do makeup on you. I said, okay. But the other funny thing is that I'm like 5'5". And the man who played my husband was over 6 foot.
Oh gosh.
And the scene in Barefoot in the Park, the wife yells at the husband. So I started the entire act on stage by myself, and it's a big monologue. And finally, towards the end of it, the husband comes in, and then I had to yell at him. And what they had found humorous was that when I would yell at this man, my hands would be on my hips or shaking a finger, but I would lift myself up on my toes to yell at him, so that I would be closer to yelling in his face. And yeah, fun. There you go. So there's something you didn't know about me, right?
That's great.
But fun disparity in height. Yeah.
Yes, I've always been shorter than any scene partner that I've been with. I have a good friend who she still does theater. She's a teacher and she teaches theater at our high school, but she would always get cast as the older woman in the scene. And there was I can't remember the name of the one act play that they did for competition, but they were like, it was a bunch of actors and she got cast in the part that was the actor who always got cast as the older female lead. and it was just funny because yeah, she would always be put with people who are a lot older than her in community theater things and have old age makeup on. And yeah, she was a sophomore playing the mother of seniors, and it was just the best.
Because you already knew that I had played the heroine in melodramas, right? Yeah.
Which is not I didn't get a lot of lead parts. I was good for I'm really good at facial work. I have a very expressive face. So I was good for doing some background acting and kind of hamming it up in the back. Or I got cast in a lot of like smaller comedic things is what they used me for in high school. Not that I couldn't. I've since done some larger things that are a little bit more soft and dramatic, but in high school it was this face. This face was the face, which I find funny now because whenever I'm playing with James, he'll say words and I'll just like make a big outsized reaction with my face and he just cracks up. I don't even have to say anything to him and he just starts laughing.
I think I realized that I made a lot of big expressions when kids would mirror them back to me.
Yes. So that's always fun. That's how you know you're good with kids, is whenever you can make them laugh and you don't even have to say anything to them.
And if you have come to Black Needle events, you might have seen Keisha in the role.
Oh yes, in the role of the widowed wife who was definitely not getting her hair done and definitely didn't kill her husband. That was a lot of fun. I did have to get a little bit dramatic with that and definitely play against type. I had to borrow a crimper from a friend because I was like, I don't know what to do with my hair. She said, oh, you should just use this crimper. I'll show you how to do it. So fancy lady is usually, even though I did once in middle school in a production during our summer school. It was called And Then There Were None. It was a play off of And Then There Was One. Oh no, it was
the other way, right?
The other way. It was called And Then There Was One. So it was a big old murder mystery, and I played Miss Dolores Biggs, the actress. And that was the voice that I used, and I thought I was just great. I did have to run across different leveled risers in heels, not very high heels, but I was only 12, so that wasn't great. And then it was dark, and I wore this big floofy dress. It was really fun.
We used to have Parks and Recreation sponsored theater in the parks and I did several productions with them
Oh,
and just had a great time doing that. So
I wish that I wish I had more time. My one of my friends is very, very the one who always got cast as the older female lead. She's now very involved in the community theater in the town that I grew up in, and she directs and is in a lot of those productions. So I wish I lived closer so that I could do some of that. I think I've mentioned it before. I know I've at least told you about it, but during 2020, in June of 2020, they did a production that was all just done through Zoom. They did a lot of those, but my friend directed one, and I got cast as the two women were both leading women. They've had basically the same amount of lines, but I was cast in that and got to just be in a Zoom play. I just we didn't have to be off book, and so we just had the scripts in front of us, and we had to come up with our own props in our house, and you know, make our own costume and everything. And I remember, 'cause it's June and I'm very pregnant. I'm 8 months pregnant at this point. So I was being kicked from the inside during the entire play. And I was in the basement of our house to cut down on any noise because my husband was home. But I also realized that in my basement is where the air conditioning unit was. So I turned that off so that it wouldn't be making noise. So I'm just sweating. 8 months pregnant, trying to cry. Which it wasn't hard because there were a lot of circumstances there, but it was really fun, and that was the last time I got to really act in anything. But hopefully, as James gets older, I'll have more time to kind of do those sorts of things because I really like that. Well, are you getting to a good stopping point with yours?
I could be. If you show yours, I have to go back across a row. Is that what you're doing too?
But I've only got 3, so we'll just.
I think I have about 7, but
okay, so I'm probably gonna beat you. Maybe. There's nothing like putting the pressure on. That's whenever everything knots. That's whenever you put your needle in the wrong place.
yes.
Right.
This one has gone pretty smoothly. I really, really like this, and I do need to pull it out more often.
For sure. So here is where I am. I did the blue here, and then you can see I've started right here. So before my tablet died. I swear I plugged this in.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I've had this tablet for a while, so I think sometimes the charger doesn't quite connect to it. So
and maybe it just didn't.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
It just didn't want to play well.
But that's okay.
Okay, let me put that up there. I was going to look. I have done. Well, you won't know how many stitches today. I didn't know last time because I forgot my tablet. Today I have done 109 stitches. And I worked mainly in one color. I'm going to put my feet down. Sorry if it makes noise. But I did this color on this little diamond, and it went up. Okay, it's not a diamond, but that little funky shape. And I've moved up across. I had a couple of the little triangles in the same color right here. And then I started, it'll be the same shape up here. So
looking good.
That was a pretty good chunk.
That's right.
So I got to mark off my stitches from the last time today. So I had done 90 stitches last time we discovered.
There we go. So that's about a stitch with us. It's about 100-ish stitches.
Yes.
There we go.
Probably about a half hour.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
So do you have, well, we've gotten up to a lot of shenanigans.
Yes.
Today.
And we've definitely rambled off of those topics.
Yes, for sure. So I guess all that's left to say is bye, everyone. Have a good week.